Hey, Bruce here with 5-Minute Handyman. I am putting in a Schluter preformed shower base and I want to show you how to do that. So let's take a look at some of the hardware and we'll talk about it. Alright, so first thing I have to do is I have to mix up some thinset. And so I've got a bucket of water. I have a mixing bucket. And I've got a mixing paddle. I've got my heavy duty drill. And so let me put the paddle onto the drill, and it's a good idea to not leave the paddle on the drill when you're not using it, because there's so much torque in this drill. If you're carrying it and you accidentally hit the trigger, you could easily break bones. So I've got that. I've got a bucket with some water in it. I've got my 1/4 inch by 3/8 notch trowel to put down the mortar or the thinset. I've got a margin trowel to be able to scoop it out and put it down. And then I also have my thinset material. And so I like to use this Ardex thinset. It does a great job, and I really enjoy using that material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first pour in some water, and don't want to put too much in there because I don't need a huge amount of thinset for this. And somebody had asked me about why do I put water in first, and it's mainly to make sure that things mix up correctly. And so what I like to do is I like to put in water first. Then as I'm using my drill to mix it, I'm not over taxing the motor of my drill, especially since this is a battery powered one. And so that's why I do that. So what I'll do is I'll take this, hold it between my knees, tip it over, let some of the thinset go into the bucket. So as I start hearing the motor start to weigh down a little bit, I'll take the bag and lift it out so that I can make sure that I'm mixing up and not making it too thick. Let me change your perspective here so you can see what it looks like if I mix it. Okay, so we'll hold on to the bucket with our feet. I have my drill set on slow speed, which means it has very high torque. So I do not want to angle this paddle too much, because if this gets into the corner, it will end up grabbing the bucket and ripping this out of my hands. Okay, so this is nice and loose. I like it loose because that way it spreads very nicely. So some of the thin sets that I've used before, they require you to mix it a certain number of minutes, then you have to wait a couple of minutes and then you mix it again. With the Ardex, you just mix it one time, make sure there's uniform consistency, and then you can use it. Okay, so now I've got thinset on my paddle, and so what I'm going to do, move the powder out of the way, shake that off in my bucket, and then I'm going to put it in some water, and I want to clean it off right away. What I'll do is I'll change directions a few times. Okay, and so now I've got most of it off, but what I want to do now is I want to take it off of my drill, because I'm going to use my hands to wipe off the rest of this thinset that's on here. And if I by accident end up hitting the handle, my wrist and my hands and my fingers will be no more. So there's so much torque in these heavy-duty motors for the drills that it's not worth the risk. So you always want to be safe and try to think ahead to what's going to be the best situation. Okay, so I get almost all of this off. So now while I'm doing my thinset over here, I'll leave this sitting in the water, and then afterwards after I'm done here and I go to start cleaning up the rest of my tools, I'll do a little bit better job of cleaning that up. But if I don't start it right now, it's going to be difficult to get fully clean.